I'm Callie Todd, Senior Adoption Consultant and the Social Media and Marketing Manager here at CAC. This month we've been discussing growth in adoption. With spring almost here, we want to continue encouraging you to step into new seasons of growth. In adoption, there is always something new to learn, and it's our prayer that this month would continue to be a means of encouragement and education for you. Today, I wanted to discuss the growth that hopeful adoptive parents encounter through the wait that adoption brings. There is so much waiting in every step and phase of the adoption process, right? So waiting for your home study to be complete, waiting for your profile to be done, waiting to hear back from agencies and attorneys after you've sent over your application. There's more waiting as you wait to hear back from expecting mothers as they make a decision, and then waiting for the baby to be born after a match. Waiting is under every nook and cranny within adoption, and it cannot be escaped in this journey. For those who have walked through this process before, or those of you who are walking through it now, you know that waiting can be uncomfortable. It can make you doubt. It can be exhausting. It can be disappointing. It can be discouraging. It can be all of those things and more. But instead of dreading the wait, I want to encourage you to reframe your perspective by reminding you of 3 ways that God grows you through the wait in adoption. God uses hard things like the wait to draw us close to his heart. In our weariness, we run to him. In our weakness, we rely on his strength. All over the Old and New Testament, we see God using hard things to draw his children close to his heart. So if the wait is moving you to the heart of the Father, that is a very good thing. If the wait is stirring you back to Jesus as you seek him in prayer, that is a very good thing. God uses hard things like the wait for our good. God uses the wait in adoption to draw us closer to our spouse. In my own life, God has used the trials my husband and I have walked through to grow us closer to each other. Maybe the thing we were going through at the time wasn't a good thing. We walked through many trying seasons of infertility, miscarriage, and loss, and those things are scary and overwhelming. But God met us in them, and as we clung to Christ together in prayer, in reading the Word together, he knit our hearts closer to each other. God uses hard things like the wait to grow our heart, to mold our character, to make us more like Jesus. Any waiting that I've endured has made me a better person. It's made me a better mom, a better wife, a better friend. As Christians, we can rest on the certainty that the Lord wastes nothing. You can be sure that he is growing you through the wait and these hard things. Romans tells us not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame because God's love has been poured out in our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. The wait is hard. There is no way around that. But it's my hope that you would be encouraged to know that God is growing you through this. It can be really tempting to look only at the here and now, what's right in front of you. But don't forget that God sees the bigger picture. God is working in your waiting. I love what Jade Mazarin says with Desiring God. There is actually something happening while nothing is happening. God uses the waiting to change us. She goes on to say that some of the greatest figures in the Bible, Abraham, Joseph, Moses, David, had to wait for many years for God's promises. Everything that happened in the meantime was used to prepare them inwardly as well as outwardly. Then when they reached their promise, they were blessed beyond measure. And that promise is true for you too. I hope this was an encouragement to you today. Remember that the Lord is with you in your waiting.